You ever notice something strange about healthcare workers? We can walk into a room during absolute chaos and somehow keep everything together. We solve problems, we calm families, we handle emergencies, and then we go home and quietly fall apart. Not physically, mentally. Because there comes a point where you're not just tired, you're exhausted in a way sleep doesn't fix. And if we're being honest, that exhaustion doesn't just affect our health, it affects our finances too. Because the healthcare paycheck trap isn't really about money. It's about what exhaustion does to the decisions we make. And most people never realize that. No one really talks about the invisible part of healthcare, the emotional recovery, the mental recovery, the constant overstimulation. Every shift demands something from you. Your attention, your patience, your energy, your emotional bandwidth. And most of the time, you're giving more than you're getting back. That's why some healthcare workers sit in their cars after work in complete silence. No music, no phone, no conversation, just silence. Trying to decompress before walking into the next part of their life. And here's what makes this important. When exhaustion becomes normal, you stop noticing how much it's affecting you. You think you're functioning, but you're actually surviving. When people hear the phrase, bad money habits, they usually imagine irresponsibility, but that's not often what's happening. Sometimes it's DoorDash. Sometimes it's Amazon. Sometimes it's convenience. Sometimes it's another subscription. Not because you're reckless, because you're tired. After spending 12 hours taking care of everyone else, your brain starts looking for relief. Anything that feels easier. Anything that feels comforting. Anything that feels rewarding. And those decisions rarely feel significant. One meal, one purchase, one convenience fee, one subscription. But over time, small leaks sink big ships. And that's where the trap begins. Not with a major financial mistake, with hundreds of tiny decisions made while exhausted. You can make good money and still feel financially trapped. That confuses a lot of people because from the outside, everything looks fine. The scrubs, the paycheck, the overtime, the career. But internally, it feels like you're constantly trying to catch up. And exhaustion makes planning harder. It makes budgeting harder, saving harder, investing harder, thinking clearly harder. So life slowly becomes reactive, one paycheck at a time, one bill at a time, one stressful month at a time. And before you know it, you're stuck in survival mode. But here's the realization that changed everything for me. You're not failing because you're bad with money. You're trying to build financial stability while emotionally exhausted. And those are two very different battles. Most healthcare workers don't need more shame. They need clarity. They need recovery. They need a system that works in the real world. And once you see that, you stop attacking yourself. You stop wondering what's wrong with you, and you start understanding what's actually happening. If you're a healthcare worker and this feels familiar, I'd love to have you here. Subscribe, because these conversations are just getting started. And if nobody has explained healthcare life this way before, you're exactly who this channel was built for. You do not need to fix your entire financial life this week. You don't need a perfect budget. You don't need another financial guru. You don't need to work more overtime. The first step is simpler than that. Find the leaks. That's it. Find the places where exhaustion is quietly costing you money. The convenience purchases, the emotional spending, the forgotten subscriptions, the habits that no longer serve you. because every recovery starts the same way. Not by building wealth, by stopping the bleeding. First stabilize, then recover, then grow. One better decision, one calmer month, one small win. That is how people reclaim control. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you're steering again. If any part of this felt familiar, you're not alone. Thousands of healthcare workers are carrying the same weight. And that's why MediHealth Money exists. Not to judge, not to sell hype, not to tell you to become rich overnight, but to help healthcare workers understand what's really happening and slowly take back control. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start recovering, subscribe. Because in the next videos, we're going to find the leaks. We're going to stabilize the finances. And we're going to build something stronger. MediHealth Money. Healing lives, building wealth.